Created by ContentBinger.com. Criminal Law Glossary. Letters Q, R, and S.
Q. There are no words that start with the letter Q in this series. R. Rape is unlawful sexual intercourse. Readiness conference is a meeting between the judge, district attorney, and defense counsel just before trial to determine if all parties are ready for trial. Reasonable cause is closely related to probable cause. Reasonable person standard is the idealized standard of how a community expects its members to act. It is based on the degree of care that persons of ordinary prudence would exercise in particular situations. Referee commissioner is a minor judicial official appointed by the superior court judges. When sitting in court has generally the same power as the judge. Rehabilitation is the process through which a convicted person is reformed, so as not to commit another criminal act. Release on own recognizance is the non-monetary release on bail of low-risk defendants who are recommended for unconditional release, based on their social ties to the community. Restitution is money paid to victims by the offender to make up for harm or damage done. Revocation in criminal law is the taking away of a present liberty interest, resulting in the offender returning to custody. The most important forms of revocation are probation revocation, parole revocation, and the revocation of good time credit. Robbery is the unlawful taking of property from a person's immediate possession by force or threat of force. S. Search warrant is a written order by a judge which permits a law enforcement officer to search a specific place, person, or vehicle and identifies the persons, if known, and any articles intended to be seized, often specified by type, such as weapons, drugs and drug paraphernalia, evidence of bodily harm. Self-defense is the right to defend oneself with whatever force is reasonably necessary against an actual or reasonably perceived threat of personal harm. Self-incrimination is giving evidence and answering questions that would tend to subject one to criminal prosecution. Sentence is the penalty imposed by a judge upon a convicted criminal. Sentencing brief is a motion by the district attorney to encourage the judge to sentence a defendant in a particular way. Shoplifting is a form of theft in which items are taken from a store without payment or the intention to pay. Slander is also known as oral defamation, in which someone tells one or more persons an untruth about another, which untruth will harm the reputation of the person defamed. Specific intent is the intent to accomplish the precise criminal act that one is later charged with. State prison is a state facility of confinement for convicted sex offenders, or serious/violent offenders. Status offenders are youth who are charged with being beyond the control of their legal guardians, habitually disobedient, or truant from school, or with committing other acts that would not be crimes if committed by an adult. Status offenses are acts that are illegal if committed by a juvenile, truancy or running away from home, for example. Statutes are written codes which describe laws and set rules and deadlines for lawsuits. Statute of limitations are laws that set deadlines for when a lawsuit must be filed. Statutory rape is an act of sexual intercourse with a minor, under age 18, who is not the perpetrator's spouse. It is a crime whether or not the minor consents to the act. Stop and frisk to pat down or search someone whom the police believe is acting suspiciously and who may be carrying a weapon. Strict liability is liability or responsibility for harm whether or not the person causing the harm displayed any fault or moral impropriety. Sua sponte is Latin for, of one's own accord, voluntarily, example, without prompting or suggestion, on its own motion. The court took notice sua sponte that it lacked jurisdiction over the case. Subpoena is a mandatory legal notice to appear in court. Summary judgment motion is a pre-trial motion, usually in a civil case, to decide important issues in the lawsuit. Summons is a written notice ordering the suspect to appear in court, usually used in petty offenses. Sustained means a judge's ruling that an attorney's objection is proper.
Thanks for watching. For more content, check out contentbinger.com.